welcome to another episode of Microsoft Fabric product team interviews. This time we have the pleasure again to be with Arti, whom we had this similar call last time in person in the Microsoft office in Redmond. Hey, Arti, how are you doing?
Doing great, Reza. How are you doing?
Thank you. It's really nice to have you back again here. We had really good conversation last time. So before we start talking about the areas that you are working on in Microsoft Fabric, can you please introduce yourself to our audience in case they don't know you, who you are, and which part of the Microsoft Fabric product you are focusing on?
Absolutely. So I'm Arthi Iyer. I work on the Fabric team. I lead product on the Fabric platform team. So Fabric platform forms the horizontal for many of the workloads you work with, like warehousing, data engineering, etc. We form the horizontal, which gives you a cohesive experience across security, availability, and a lot of aspects on the platform. So uh, that's primarily what I do. Yeah.
That is right. Yeah. And when we are talking about security, is that meaning let's say, security compliance, or you are talking about the security as of, let's say, the roles and definitions of the roles in workspaces? Which part?
Both, actually, to a great
Mhm.
extent. So, security in terms of access control, which goes back to roles and permissions in a workspace, but
Correct.
also sharing artifacts, specifically not giving access directly to the workspace. So, that's one aspect of it. And beyond that, compliance, which goes back to certifications, for instance, right? Like you
Correct.
want HIPAA compliance if you are in the healthcare industry, and much more. Right, so we also work on acquiring these compliance certifications, just to make sure that Fabric is industry standard compliant in terms of different domains which our customers tend to use Fabric for.
That is right. And as you mentioned, the compliance part is quite important for some industries. Like if someone is in bank industry or healthcare or some specific industries, they need some sorts of compliance to go through, um, which is good. Talking about the security as of the workspace level, we did had this really long time ago that we had workspace version one with like two
Yeah.
security level access, edit and view, and then workspace version two, which is the current one with four security roles: viewer, contributor, member, and administrator. Do we still have any of those workspace version ones, or they are all being migrated now to version two?
They're all migrated right now. So we do have the new roles, like you mentioned, the four roles:
Mhm.
admin, member, contributor, and viewer. And if you don't want to add someone to the workspace directly, you can just share specific artifacts. So these exist today. And we're just exploring if additional roles are needed, or there's even an ask for custom roles and things like that.
Yes.
So we're also exploring that area. But for now, these are the four roles which exist. But happy to hear feedback from users and customers to be able to take this forward.
Yep, yep. No, that absolutely makes sense. So what are the new, let's say, either updates or the new things that are about to happen in your area of the product that we should be looking for?
So we've been working on a lot of key enterprise features. And when I
Mhm.
say key enterprise features, these are fundamental features which many enterprises need in terms of getting their production workloads on Fabric. So I already mentioned a few in terms of access control, but also certifications, like you rightly mentioned, HIPAA for healthcare, PCI for the credit card industry, and there's a lot more, right? And we're continuously acquiring these certifications. But beyond that, there's other aspects of network security which customers need. So, for instance, how do I securely connect to my data in Fabric? Right? That's one really, really important aspect. Then, how do I actually make sure that my developer who's working in Fabric, let's say creating a data flow or a pipeline, how do they securely connect to data sources behind firewall? Right? So my
Mhm.
ADLS account could be behind a firewall. How do I pierce through the firewall and be able to connect to that from my data flow? Right? And then after that, once my data is in Fabric, how do I make sure that this data doesn't get exfiltrated?
Mhm.
Right? So these are common scenarios which customers are do really want us to solve for, and we are actively working on these areas. So for the inbound, you're aware of the private link feature, which is available
Mhm.
at the tenant level already in GA, but we want to bring it down at a granular level, at the workspace level. So that's something in the works, and
Mhm.
public preview of that feature is going to happen very soon. So that's one aspect.
Right.
For connectivity, or rather, generally for connecting two data sources behind firewall, we introduced a few features last year: manage private endpoints with Spark, but also trusted access to ADLS Gen 2. These are
Mhm.
already available in GA. And of course, everyone knows gateways and uses a lot of
Yes.
gateways. So
Yeah.
that's another aspect which allows with that as well, right? And the final aspect, where once I have data in Fabric, how do I protect it? We are working on a feature called outbound access protection, which will basically make sure that every user within Fabric is able to connect to only a list of data sources that the workspace admin whitelist, right?
Mhm.
So that's something we're working on as well. So that gives a true network protection to your data in Fabric. So that's one big area we're working on. And OAP, or outbound access protection for Spark, is also going into public preview very soon. So you'll see a lot of announcements happening in some time. Yeah. And then finally, another big area with compliance and security is customer managed keys for encryption.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
as you know, Microsoft encrypts customer data anyway, right? We make sure data at rest and data at transit is encrypted. But the aspect which is required from a compliance perspective for many industries is for the customer to manage the key, so to
Mhm.
make sure that they can revoke it anytime, they can change it anytime, and so on, right? So for
Right.
that, we're again introducing a feature called CMK for Fabric for data stored in one lake, which is again going to be in public preview very soon. So a lot of important and interesting security encryption capabilities coming very soon.
That is cool. So this is more focusing. I mean, all of these are kind of focusing for organizations to make sure that their data, the connection to their data in Fabric, in or out of Fabric, is fully secure, which is quite an important
That's right.
aspect. Is that there was an announcement I've seen maybe last week or a couple of weeks ago about using passwords in Azure Key Vaults also in the connections in Microsoft Fabric. Is that also part of your team's work?
It's not part of my team. It's part of an amazing the data integration team, but it's an amazing feature for our customers where existing DI connectors,
Mhm.
which users have been using for a long time, can now make use of key vaults. Right. So instead of storing credentials outside of their key vaults, they can point to the key vaults for specific
Yes.
connectors and be able to use that. So that's an amazing security feature. Which I mean, it's not my team, but I'm absolutely proud of.
Yep, yep. That sounds all good. Thank you. And just to clarify, because some people still ask for it and they are not quite clear on that, is that these security compliance features, I mean, this whole things that you are working on, the security in and out of Fabric, this is all available in any of the SKUs of Fabric, regardless if it is F2 or F2048, or is it requiring a specific setup?
No, absolutely. These are available in the FSKUs, though. Any of the FSKUs. We initially did have a restriction on F64 and above, but that restriction's gone. We want to make sure that the smallest or the largest SKU have the same security requirements, so you have the capability to use it. So they are available irrespective of the SKU size.
That sounds good. So if I want to use a private link and any of those kind of things, this would be available even in F2, which is amazing.
Yes.
That
Yes.
sounds
Yes.
great. So Fabric has came a long way with all of these setups and security, and of course, this started first with Power BI workspaces and security. Now became Fabric. What do you see as your vision would become in the future? Like probably this is like two. maybe early to talk about like what do you see in the next few
No,
years
not
to come.
really.
But
So
yeah.
I do see your question about how.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So I see your question. There's a lot of work being done in the security space now, and a few
Yes.
things I did not cover are like, for instance, when Fabric is compliant or uses Entra IDs, right? AAD.
Hmm.
And based on that, you Fabric by default gets a lot of security features, for instance,
Hmm.
conditional access policies and so on, right? And then beyond that, a very close integration with Purview gives a lot of additional features as well. Those don't directly fall on my team, but I can happily share that. That's this concepts called information protection labels, data loss prevention policies, and a lot more, which actually gives very easy, simple ways to make security possible or secure your data estate,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
Beyond that, of course, depending on the industry, depending on the compliance needs, customers are willing to do more in terms of getting into complex setups and so on. And there we have all of these new capabilities coming in. So I think our security story is going to evolve as we add more and more. And we want
Yes.
to make sure that a customer who has simple needs with security and doesn't have a need for complex setup or isn't able to support a complex setup, they have features to support them as well. But on the other end of the spectrum, we'll make sure everything available in terms of securing your data for especially sensitive data with respect to complex features as well. All of those are going to be available. So a SaaS versus PaaS approach, we want to make sure we provide you all, right? And the customer can then pick and choose. That's where we want to go eventually.
Correct. Right. Meaning that like for customers, their reliability on the security of this SaaS product, this cloud-based product, would be kind of similar to what they have already on premises, that they are like relying on that, which is
Exactly, exactly. For such customers who want to do almost like a lift and shift and have a
mm,
very, very similar experience, they will have that. On the other hand, customers who don't need such complex setup, but
mm,
definitely need data secured by default, right?
correct. Yes.
That those customers will also have capabilities to do that. So we are bringing a balance of both worlds here.
Right. That sounds great. One question which I ask everyone else in these setup interviews is that like where do you get mostly the ideas you are working on? Is the ideas forum the main place, or you have other channels also to get feedback from customers?
Ideas Forum, definitely a really, really great place. We keep checking it very often. We keep updating. Folks have raised it to make sure that they know what we're thinking about it. So that's definitely an important. Beyond that, we have we do have great engagement with our enterprise customers who provide
Mhm.
us a lot of feedback, also feedback, validations in terms of what we are working on. So that's another area where we're closely knit with our enterprise customers. Then we go to conferences and we have a
Yes.
lot of booth duty and we talk to a lot of customers during that period. So
Yes.
every discussion we have, we definitely take inputs from that and we bring it back and make sure our backlog and the new feature list is shaped by all these discussions.
Yes, yeah, that is right. We'll make sure that we'll put the link to ideas down in the description below, and
Absolutely.
also the link to your LinkedIn profile as well, in case people want to connect with you.
Absolutely.
Um, is there anything else that you would like to mention that we haven't talked about here?
No, I think we've covered a lot of the areas and a lot of the exciting features coming in. The main thing to say is we're working really, really hard to make these features available. So yes, stay tuned, and you will see a lot of great announcements coming out very soon.
Thank you for whatever you are doing in the team. I always, when I talk with people, I mention that these areas behind the scene, like administration, like security, like workspace management, all of those kind of things that we don't see it that much, probably take much more time, sometimes even more time than some of the features that we see in a visualization in an area that we feel it. But because that is the area that people just like see it right in front of them, they have a usually better feeling that something is happening there, nothing is happening behind the scene. But behind the scene is a lot of things happening. And thank you for what you are doing uh, in the background.
Yeah,
Really helps.
my pleasure. I enjoy what I do, so absolutely, you'll see a lot of things coming out very soon.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate that. And thank you everyone for watching us. Until the next video. Bye.
Thanks, Reza. Bye.